Theodosia, what to say to you? You have my eyes, you have your mother's name. When you came into the world you cried, and it broke my heart. I'm dedicating every day to you. Domestic life was never quite my style. When you smile, you knock me out, I fall apart. And I thought I was so smart. You will come of age with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you, and you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday, yeah, you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday. Oh, Philip, when you smile, I am undone. My son, look at my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for. There is so much more inside me now. Oh, Philip, you outshine the morning sun. My son, when you smile, I fall apart. And I thought I was so smart. My father wasn't around. My father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll make a million mistakes. I'll make the world safe and sound for you. We'll come of age with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. We lay a strong enough foundation. We'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you, and you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday, yeah, you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday.
That was Dear Theodosia by Leslie Odom Jr. Allison, take it away.
Isn't it such a sweet song?
Oh, I love it so much.
I actually have a fun fact about the name Theodosia.
Theodore.
I mean, it's a similar name. You're right, I suppose. Did you guys know Theodosia and Theodore start with the same sound?
Listen.
That actually, my fun fact applies to both those names. The term Theo comes from the Greek root theothea, which refers to a god or a deity, which means that Theodosia means a God-given gift, and it makes me so sad and happy. It's so emotional.
Yeah.
To just think about that. This song is so emotional, so it's very fitting.
Oh yeah.
I could go into all the depressing history that could surround this song.
Please don't.
But I'm not going to. You can look it up yourself. Look up Dear Theodosia Reprise on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, just whatever you listen to, and you will cry.
Source?
Source me, actually.
You've cried?
I have, in fact, cried to that song.
Fair
Especially
enough.
the one by Sarah Bareilles Alice did a recording of it. It is so good.
Fair enough.
Highly recommend.
She has a good voice.
Anyway, back to the actual song. It's really emotional. It's not necessarily based in history like Story of Tonight is. It's a moment that certainly happened, but not necessarily oh, here's the documents that prove this was a thing that happened.
Yeah. For me, it was like a song to, humanize Leslie Odom Jr.'s character. What is it? Burr? Yeah. Because, when you're a kid listening to this play, you're like, Burr, he's the bad guy. You will learn right off from the start. He's going to kill Hamilton. Rah! And then it's like, oh, he's singing like a nice kid about his a nice song about his kid.
He's just a dad.
What? Yeah.
There are a couple good songs like Wait For It and one like that, and Room Where It Happens, which I'm going to play later. How can
Next.
I not? Yes! Oh, perfect planning on my part, actually.
You did make the set list.
I did, in fact, make the set list. It took a lot of brain power.
I can confirm. How many days was I just literally like, Allison, I need the set list?
All of them. Since, like, last May. This song really highlighted, like, the similarities between them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really get a good song that does that. They meet, and they don't really get along. They run into each other a couple times, and they aren't really, like, getting close to one another. They have a song about, like, flirting with women. They have a song where, like, they bump into each other, and George Washington is like, actually, I prefer Hamilton. And that's so funny.
How it be with the boys.
Exactly. But in this one, you get to see them, even though they're not in the same room. Their children were actually born at about the same time.
Yeah.
So they both go through this phase of their life together,
Mm-hmm.
and it really, like, brings them together and highlights how similar of people they are, even though they have, like, differences that eventually ruin both of their lives.
Yeah.
And we get to learn about that one later.
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Anything else?
Also, a lot of the words that they say in this song do actually come back around in the song Blow Us All Away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's an actual word. But it's about Hamilton's kid. So it really comes full circle, and you get to set up little things that come back around, which is really fun, without being a direct reprise.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Alright.
The next song!
Yeah. The Room Where It Happens, again, sung by Leslie Odom Jr.
This song is a song about not knowing what happened. It is a song about what happened, where you don't actually know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's the stupidest
Bars.
oxymoron.
And I love it so much for that.
Exactly.
Alright, without further ado, The Room Where It Happens.
Ah, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Bird, sir.
Hey, did you hear the news about good old General Mercer?
No.
You know Claremont Street?
Yeah.
They renamed it after him. The Mercer legacy is secure.
Sure.
And all he had to do was die.
Yeah, that's a lot less work.
We ought to give it a try.
Huh.
Now how you gonna get your debt plan through?
I guess I'm gonna finally have to listen to you.
Really?
Talk less, smile more, do whatever it takes to get my plan on the Congress floor.
Now Madison and Jefferson are merciless.
Well, hate the sin, love the sinner.
Hamilton.
I'm sorry, Burr, I gotta go.
But
Decisions are happening over dinner.
two Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed foes. They emerge with a compromise, having opened doors that were previously closed. Bros. The immigrant emerges with unprecedented financial power, a system he can shape however he wants. The Virginians emerge with the nation's capital. And here's the pièce de résistance. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the game is played, the art of the trade, how the sausage gets made. We just assume that it happens, but no one else is in the room where it happens. Thomas claims
Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray.
Thomas claims
Alexander said,
I've nowhere else to turn.
and basically begged me to join the fray.
Thomas claims
I approached Madison and said, I know you hate him, but let's hear what he has to say.
Thomas claims
Well, I arranged the meeting. I arranged the venue, the seating.
But no one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one really knows how the parties get to yes. The pieces that are sacrificed in every game of chess. We just assume that it happens, but no one else is in the room where it happens. Meanwhile, Madison is grappling with the fact that not every issue can be settled by committee. Meanwhile, Congress is fighting over where to put the capital. It isn't pretty. Then Jefferson approaches with the dinner and invite, and Madison responds with Virginian insight.
Maybe we can solve one problem with another and win a victory for the Southerners. In other words,
Oh,
a quid pro quo.
I suppose.
Wouldn't you like to work a little closer to home?
Actually, I would.
Well, I propose the Potomac.
And you'll provide him his votes.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Let's go.
No. What else was in the room where it happened? The room where it happened. The room where it happened. No one else was in the room where it happened. The room where it happened. The room where it happened. My God, in God we trust, but we never really know what got discussed. Click, boom, and it happened. And no
one else is in the room where it happened.
Alexander Hamilton.
What did they say to you to get you to sail New York City down the river?
Alexander Hamilton.
Did Washington know about the dinner? Was there presidential pressure to deliver?
Alexander Hamilton.
Or did you know even then it doesn't matter where you put the U.S. Capitol?
Cause we'll have the banks, we're in the same spot.
You got more than you gave.
And I wanted what I got. When you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. But you don't get a win unless you play in the game. Oh, you get love for it, you get hate for it, you get nothing if you wait for it, wait for it, wait. God help and forgive me, I wanna build something that's gonna outlive me. What do you want, Bert? What do you want, Bert? If you stand for nothing, what do you fall for?
I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. Close your eyes.
They wanna lead us to save the day.
We don't get a say in what they trade away.
We dream of a brand new start.
But we dream in the dark for the most part. Dark as a tomb where it happens. I've got to be in the room. I've got to be. I've got to be. I've got to be in the room. I gotta be. I gotta be. I'm gonna be in the room. Click, boom.
That was The Room Where It Happens, sung by Leslie Odom Jr. And may I just say, that was majestic.
Oh,
One of my favorites purely because of how well integrated the choir is.
it is such a well-made song, and Leslie Odom Jr. does so well with it. He did in fact win a Tony for this role, as he should. Anyway, there's so much that I can say about this song, actually.
I believe it.
I want to focus on the ending first, actually. I usually like to go through like beginning to end, but
Whoa.
I cannot move on from the ending. It is so well done. The first thing I want to point out, actually, is just you can hear his intentions behind each time he repeats the line, which is so fun, especially from an acting standpoint. Like, that's the thing they always teach you. They're like, you have to mean everything you say. There should be a specific intention. And he nails that. He's like the #1 example of that in this song. As he goes from a person who like is so resistant against any kind of like change or opinion making, and then he realizes that he got cut out, that there's this room that he's not allowed in anymore, even though he made sure not to make any enemies. It's because he didn't make any friends. So then he decides, actually, I'm going to go all opinion-based, full force, just rage and emotion. That is eventually what ruins both his and Hamilton's life. So it's so fun to listen to this moment because you know what's coming and you know what was there. I could go on and on. Did you have anything you want to say before I lose my mind?
No, I like the backing vocals and the support.
I think the bass is really well done in this one too. Like you can hear like a deep beat. You can hear the choir going over. I like that you get to hear different people's perspectives, which is why I added it to this list of like different versions of story being told. It's from the perspective of someone who was outside of the room, because all of us in the public and like at this point in history can't actually ever get inside that room. There was no actual account written down of what happened in there, so we'll never actually know. But we do get snippets, which is why we get to hear Jefferson's account and Madison's account, because of those are things they actually said. Hamilton never actually said much about the matter.
No.
Which is why I'm pretty sure that his voice part in this, once you like get into the song, the earlier conversation part's real. But that Hamilton, I think, was more of a figment of Burr's imagination than anything else. The one that provokes him, because Hamilton's always been the go for it, go with your opinion, go with your emotion guy.
Yeah.
And Burr's being faced with this not saying his emotions. So it's this internal battle with himself the entire time, even though he thinks Hamilton's a big part of it.
Fair enough.
I mean, I could say too much. We should get going.
Alright, well, it is 7:36 in the studio, and before we listen to another song, I wanted to shout something out on campus. So, if you're interested in finding out about different clubs than the ones we advertise here on the radio, there's going to be an involvement fair on Thursday, September 14th, which is next week, from 12 p.m. to 12:50 p.m., and it'll be at Chapin Quad. You can meet a bunch of different clubs, sign up for fun things. I actually found out about this radio show by going to that involvement fair a year ago now, so I highly recommend it. I cannot speak highly about it enough. Yeah. Allison, the next song you have up first is Burn by Philippa Sue. If you have anything you'd like to say about it.
Okay, so you remember when I was sitting here like, Leslie Odom Jr. is so cool. Renee Lee Scosbury was so cool. You remember that minute like a couple minutes ago?
No.
Philippa Sue is so good at her role in this. I'm sure she's great in everything. I only know her from this. But the way she sings about the heartbreak that she's gone through, this is just after the Reynolds pamphlet. So Hamilton had an affair and just published his account of it to the entire world. And
before he talked to her, right?
Before he talked to her. This is how she found out. And so now her entire private life is blown up in the public stratosphere, which was rare back then. It's more common now. And she's just dealing with the consequences. The song before this, and I should preface, almost all of the songs in this have a transition that leads into the next song. So like Story of Tonight, you may have heard the little like, is it a violin tune perhaps? Some kind of tune that doesn't quite cut off. There's no solid finish. And it's because it picks back up into the Schuyler Sisters that follows. And most of the songs function like that. The song that happens right before this is a really, really electric beat where they're like blowing Hamilton up. It's all of this punchy noise and music. And it ends on the whole chorus, everyone saying, his poor wife, and it drops down into this sad tune. You get to actually feel the emotion draining out of it. So,
Tragic.
Prepare yourselves for that.
Alright, this is Burn by Philippa Sue.
I saved every letter you wrote me. From the moment I read them, I knew you were mine. You said you were mine. I thought you were mine. Do you know what Angelica said when we saw your first letter arrive? She said, be careful with that one, love. He will do what it takes to survive. You and your words flooded my senses. Your sentences left me defenseless. You built me palaces out of paragraphs. You built cathedrals. I'm rereading the letters you wrote me. I'm searching and scanning for answers in every line, for some kind of sign. And when you were mine, the world seemed to You published the letters she wrote to you. You told the whole world how you brought this girl into our bed. In clearing your name, you have ruined our lives. Do you know what Angelica said when she read what you'd done? She said, you've married an Icarus. He's flown too close to the sun. You and your words obsessed with your legacy. Your sentences border on senseless, and you are paranoid in every paragraph. How they deceive you, you. I'm erasing myself from the narrative. Let future historians wonder how Eliza reacted when you broke her heart. You have torn it all apart. I'm watching it burn. Watching it burn. The world has no right to my heart. The world has no place in our bed. They don't get to know what I said. I'm burning the memories, burning the letters that might have redeemed you. You forfeit all rights to my I hope that you
That was Burned by Philippa Sue. Allison, take it away.
I mean, are you depressed yet, fellas?
No.
Yes.
Thanks, Marcelo.
We appreciate Marcelo and Paloma who are here in the studio with us.
No one else.
Along with a senior who shall not be named.
Oh, I forget you're a senior.
I'm not.
Not
Sure.
technically.
He's not, he says.
Anyway, back to the important thing. Hamilton. I could talk a lot about this one too. Philippa Sue, as I said, pops off.
Oh, yeah.
It is a sadder song.
Yes. Isn't she the only, like, one of the few people in Hamilton that sings that does not rap?
Yes.
Like, that is her thing.
That is her thing. And similar to how Angelica, because of her intelligence, has the really fast rap to, like, show off her intelligence. This isn't anything against Eliza as a character's intelligence. It's that her role that she chooses in her life is not one of pushing herself forward. It is always one of support. So she doesn't rap. The only thing you see her do is sing in like a harmony with someone else, or in Take a Break, she beatboxes for her son to support his rap. And that's her entire movement. So the fact that she's by herself in this, I mean, it's absolutely awful. It's done really well, though. I wish I could like pull up visuals for you guys.
We only have audio listeners, I'm so sorry.
Just watch the movie.
If you're committed to listening to an hour of us talk about a few selections from Hamilton, you can commit to watching the, 2.5 hour musical?
Exactly.
Put it in the background.
And just,
make it a road trip.
Oh, you're so right.
I mean, Paloma says, just go through with it.
You said you wanted to talk about, like, the burning letters?
Yes. So, the reason that I chose this song was, I mean, first off, it's great. And it talks about legacy a lot, which I want to highlight because this is Eliza realizing that her legacy and Hamilton's legacy too, tied together, now have to deal with this forever.
The ramifications
You
of
can't
it.
actually get rid of that kind of scandal. So she actually does the one thing that she can as an act of rebellion against Hamilton, against history. She burns the letters. And that is historically a thing that she did whenever she and Hamilton went through a rough patch. She burned the love letters that he wrote her because she was done with it, and it makes sense. But now we, as, like, looking through things historically, can't actually tell how many letters were written or what was said because those are gone now. That was her act of rebellion against Hamilton.
Good for her. The man who wrote everything down, burning his words,
Exactly.
actually baller.
And she is one of the only people to really attack his writing like that, too. As she goes on in the song, she's talking about Angelica, she's talking about, references to Greek stories, and then she digs at his writing in particular. She says, your sentences border on senseless. You're paranoid in every paragraph. Like, she is tearing down
Get him.
what he uses as his saving grace in every situation. She says, I'm sick of it. And it's so well done.
Bars. And as a fun next song, you've chosen Your Obedient Servant.
Indeed I have. Because this one also plays with letters, as you will find out. But instead of dealing with letters as a frame of reference for legacy, this one is more just about the conversation and having fun with how these two, Burr and Hamilton again, how these two communicate with one another. And instead of having them in separate rooms and not talking but saying the same thing, this time they are talking and it's so fun.
Oh my god, they talk to each other? This is wild. Your Obedient Servant with Leslie Odom Jr.
How does Hamilton, an arrogant immigrant, orphan, bastard, poor son, somehow endorse Thomas Jefferson, his enemy? A man he's despised since the beginning, just to keep me from winning. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. You've kept me from the room where it happens for the last time. Dear Alexander, I am slow to anger, but I toe the line as I reckon with the effects of your life on mine. I look back on where I failed, and in every place I checked, the only common thread has been your disrespect. Now you call me immoral, a dangerous disgrace. If you got something to say, name a time and place. Face to face, I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Burr.
Mr. Vice President, I am not the reason no one trusts you. No one knows what you believe. I will not equivocate on my opinion. I have always worn it on my sleeve. Even if I said what you think I said, you would need to cite a more specific grievance. Here's an itemized list of 30 years of disagreements.
Sweet Jesus.
Hey, I have not been shy. I am just a guy in the public eye, trying to do my best for our republic. I don't want to fight, but I won't apologize for doing what's right. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, A. Ham.
Careful how you proceed, good man. Intemperate indeed, good man. Answer for the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to plead, good man.
Your grievance is legitimate. I stand by what I said, every bit of it. You stand only for yourself. It's what you do. I can't apologize because it's true.
Let's stand, Alexander. We hawking dawn, guns drawn.
You're on.
I have the honor to be your obedient servant,
A. Ham.
A. Burr.
That was Your Obedient Servant, sung by Leslie Odom Jr. and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Allison, take it away.
I surely can. So like I said, it's a fun song. It gets to work with them communicating with one another through letters, which is, I mean, a really fun concept because you get to deal with the sarcasm of like, I have the honor to be your obedient servant as a sign-off, but you also get to hear them trying to be polite to one another. You get to hear that falling apart because this is the song where the split between Burr and Hamilton becomes like too much for them to bear, and this is what leads to the duel that we're about to listen to. And it's sarcasm in formal writing, it's fun, you get to hear something new, it's such a great way to tell this part of the story. And I really like that.
Neat, yeah, I mean, again, you get to hear the both of them talking to each other, a rare moment for them. And how far in the set list is this one?
This is almost towards the end. I think it's this song, there's one little song with Eliza, and then it's the song we're about to listen to, which is their duel, and then the song that's about, after spoiler alert, Hamilton's death.
Oh!
So this is almost at the end. This is the actual climax of the story.
And then the final song, The World Was Wide Enough. Here it is.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There are 10 things you need to know.
Number 1.
We rode across the Hudson at dawn. My friend William P. Van Ness signed on as my
Number 2.
Hamilton arrived with his crew, Nathaniel Pendleton and the doctor that he knew.
Number 3.
I watched Hamilton examine the terrain. I wish I could tell you what was happening in his brain. This man is poisoned by political pursuits.
Most disputes die and no one shoots. Number 4.
Hamilton drew first position, looking to the world like a man on a mission. This is a soldier with a marksman's ability. The doctor turned around so he could have deniability.
5.
Now I didn't know this at the time, but we were near the same spot. My son died, is that why? He examined his gun with such rigor. I watched as he methodically fiddled with the trigger.
7.
Confession time, here's what I got. My fellow soldiers will tell you I'm a terrible shot.
Number 8.
Your last chance to negotiate. Send in your second, see if they can set the record straight. They won't teach you this in your classes, but look it up. Hamilton was wearing his glasses. Why? If not to take deadly aim. It's him or me. The world will never be the same. I had only one thought before the slaughter. This man will not make an orphan of my daughter.
Number 9.
Look him in the eye, aim no higher. Summon all the courage you require. Then count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10. Paces fire.
I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. Is this where it gets me? On my feet, several feet ahead of me. I see it coming. Do I run or fire my gun or let it be? There is no beat, no melody. Burr, my first friend, my enemy. Maybe the last face I ever see. If I throw away my shot, is this how you remember me? What if this bullet is my legacy? Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. I wrote some notes at the beginning of a song someone will sing for me. America, you great unfinished symphony you sent for me. You let me make a difference, a place where even orphan immigrants can leave their fingerprints and rise up. I'm running out of time, I'm running and my time's up. Wise up, eyes up. I catch a glimpse of the other side. Lawrence leads a soldier's chorus on the other side. My son is on the other side. He's with my mother on the other side. Washington is watching from the other side. Teach me how to say goodbye. Rise up, rise up, rise up, Eliza. My love, take your time. I'll see you on the other side. Raise a glass to freedom.
He aims his pistol at the sky. Wait! I strike him right between his ribs. I walk towards him, but I am ushered away. They row him back across the Hudson. I get a drink. I hear wailing in the street. Somebody tells me you'd better hide. They say Angelica and Eliza were both at his side when he died. Death doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes. History obliterates, and every picture it paints me and all my mistakes. When Alexander aimed at the sky, he may have been the first one to die, but I'm the one who paid for it. I survived, but I paid for it. Now I'm the villain in your history. I was too young and blind to see. I should have known the world was wide enough for both Hamilton and me. The world was wide enough for both Hamilton and me.
That was The World Was Wide Enough. Allison, take it away.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of time to talk about this, but I do want to mention, this has essentially become Burr Week. He's such a tragic figure. He starts this out on a journey of like trying to protect himself and make it in the world, and then he gets caught up in this race against Hamilton, and it culminates in this battle that kills Hamilton, but at the same time ruins Burr's career. He never gets to do anything after this, and the thing he is remembered the most for, I remember seeing statues of him, is him holding a gun and shooting it. This is what he's remembered for, and it ruins him. And it's truly tragic because after all that worrying about legacy, after all Hamilton thought about it, after all Burr thought about it, this is what defined them, and they didn't get a choice in that. And it's important to remember in the way that the stories are told, the way that legacy is remembered.
Yeah. You said you also wanted to mention a little bit about the bullet. You wanted to quickly pop off about that?
I would love to. So I really like the pause in this where there's no beat, no melody. First off, because it's a callback to Hamilton worrying about death throughout the musical. He says, like, what is the beat? What is the melody? And at the end, there is none. It's just him. And that's so raw and powerful. But also, there's this figure that you never get to hear called the bullet. It's one of the extras, and it traces the bullet through the air sometimes throughout the play. You see it at one point narrowly miss Hamilton, and in this moment, the bullet pops up right outside of Burr's gun, and the extra follows the bullet as all the other extras try to pull him back as it slowly makes its way towards Hamilton, and it's so beautiful to watch. I highly recommend the movie. It's such a good story in so many different ways. That's the end of this.
Hamilton the movie, boys. Make sure you go watch it. Alright, well, thank you everyone so much for listening to our radio show tonight. This has been WBCR 90.3 FM Beloit. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Beloit_Circus_Jams. It is run by our very lovely producer, Paloma, and you should definitely check it out. Have a good night.